I was in the middle of folding laundry when my phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. It was my daughter, Sarah. Her voice was clipped, almost businesslike, as she said, "Mom, we're heading out tomorrow. I've sold your beach house to fund the move. It's done, papers signed, money transferred. We needed it for the new start in California. Take care." Click. Just like that. 42 years of pouring my heart into raising her, and she tosses me aside like an old receipt. But I set the phone down, took a slow sip of my tea, and felt a quiet smile creep across my face. Because there was something my precious Sarah didn't know. My name is Eleanor Hayes. I'm 68 years old, and up until that call, I believed I had a daughter who cared. I'd lost my husband, Thomas, 8 months earlier to a sudden stroke. We'd been married for 44 years. High school sweethearts who built a life from scratch. That last morning, he'd made us scrambled eggs, hummed an old tune, and squeezed my hand before heading to the garage. "Love you, Ellie," he'd said. Those words echo in my dreams. After his passing, Sarah had stepped up, or so I thought. She'd visit twice a week, handle the paperwork for his estate, even drive me to appointments. "Mom, you've got to stay healthy now," she'd say with a hug that felt genuine. But now? It all clicked into place like a puzzle I hadn't wanted to see. The hugs weren't love. They were leverage. The beach house was our haven. Thomas and I scraped together every penny to buy it when Sarah was just 10. It was a modest place, 2 bedrooms, a wraparound porch overlooking the waves in Maine. We'd spend summers there. Bonfires on the sand, Sarah collecting seashells, Thomas teaching her to fish. Later, she'd bring her friends, then her fiancé Mark. I'd bake pies, mend scraped knees, and create those unbreakable family bonds. Or so I believed. She saw it as an asset to liquidate. And our old Jeep? Thomas's pride and joy. He'd tinker with it every weekend, blasting classic rock while he worked. It still smelled like his aftershave. Sarah knew that. She knew everything. But what hurt most was remembering the day she was born. Tiny, crying, and perfect. I'd whispered promises to protect her forever. Now those promises felt like chains she'd snapped without a second thought. After the call, I didn't break down. Instead, a strange peace settled over me, mingled with a sharp pang of loneliness that made my chest ache. Because 4 days before Thomas died, he'd pressed a sealed envelope into my hands. "Ellie, keep this safe in the attic box. If anything happens to me, open it when the time feels right. Promise?" I'd nodded, tucked it away amid old photo albums, and forgotten in the whirlwind of grief. But now? Now it called to me like a lifeline. I climbed the ladder to the attic, dust motes dancing in the afternoon light, and there it was, yellowed but intact, my name scrawled in Thomas's steady hand. My fingers trembled as I opened it, tears blurring my vision before I even read a word. Inside, a stack of papers that stole my breath. Deeds to properties I'd never heard of, stock certificates, offshore account details, and a letter from Thomas. "My dearest Ellie," it began. "If you're reading this, I'm gone, and I'm sorry for the secrets. I wanted to shield you from the stress. Over the years, I turned our savings into something more. We own 5 rental homes in the city, a cabin in the mountains, and the entire condo complex where Sarah and Mark live. Plus investments in tech firms, worth millions now. Your secure love. Always were in my heart, now on paper too." Tears streamed down my face, not just from joy, but from the crushing weight of his unspoken burdens. Thomas had been a mechanic, fixing cars by day, but at night? He'd studied markets, invested wisely, built an empire in silence. All for us. And then the gut twist, a postscript. "Watch Sarah, Ellie. She's got your spirit, but Mark's greed is poisoning it. If she strays, remember, tough love saved me once." The irony burned like acid in my throat. Sarah thought she'd left me penniless, but I was wealthier than she'd ever dreamed. In his letter, Thomas added, "I kept it quiet so Sarah would love us for us, not our wallet. Watch her closely, Ellie. She's got your fire, but sometimes it burns wrong." Oh, how right he was. That night, I pored over the documents by lamplight, the house creaking around me like old memories. Sarah's new start in California? Probably Mark's idea. He'd always eyed our things with greed, resenting my interference in their lives. But as I sat there, A wave of doubt crashed over me. Was I really going to let her suffer? The mother in me screamed to call her back, to forgive. But Thomas's words held me steady. Tough love. The next morning, Sarah called again, her tone sweeter, like she'd rehearsed it. Mom, just checking in. We deposited your cut, 25% after fees. It'll tide you over. Mark's got this amazing startup opportunity out west. We'll video call once settled. My cut. Of my own home? The betrayal stung anew, fresh tears pricking my eyes. I kept my voice steady. Safe travels, dear. Love you. She hung up, oblivious. I checked the bank. Yes, a fraction of the house's worth sold cheap in haste. From my window, I watched them pack their SUV with designer bags, laughing like newlyweds. No goodbye visit. No glance my way. As they drove off, I whispered to Thomas's photo. Time to teach her love. But inside, my heart shattered a little more. How had my little girl become this stranger? I contacted Ms. Rivera, the attorney Thomas had used for years. She'd handled his will quietly. Eleanor, good to hear from you. How can I help? I explained everything. The envelope, the sale, my plan. Her voice sharpened. The beach house deed was in your name alone. The sale's invalid. We can void it discreetly. As for the rest, you're the sole beneficiary. We can transfer control without alerting anyone. Perfect, I said. Keep it secret. I want to handle this my way. No lawsuits yet. No confrontación. Just quiet moves. But that night, alone in bed, the silence pressed in. I clutched Thomas's pillow, sobbing for the family we'd lost, not just to death, but to choices. Over the next month, I played the part of the abandoned widow. Neighbors whispered, brought casseroles. Poor Eleanor left high and dry. I'd smile sadly, thank them, all while Ms. Rivera worked magic. The beach house buyers? Innocent folks duped by Sarah's forged power of attorney, signed during my grief haze. We nullified the sale, refunded them quietly. The Jeep? Traced to a dealer. I bought it back anonymously. And the condo where Sarah lived? Thomas owned the building through a shell company. I now controlled rents, maintenance, everything. But amid the scheming, a health scare hit. Chest pains at the grocery store. The doctor said stress-induced, nothing serious, but it shook me. What if I died before she learned? The fear added a desperate edge to my resolve. Sarah's postcards arrived sporadically. Loving Callie. Startup booming. But I knew better. Ms. Rivera dug discreetly. Mark's opportunity was a scam, debts piling up. 3 months in, the calls started. Mom, things are tight. Can you wire a little? Just temporary. I sent small amounts, feigning struggle. I'm scraping by, dear. Sold some old jewelry. Inside I ached, but Thomas's words echoed. Let her learn. Then a twist. Sarah mentioned a miscarriage scare in one call, her voice breaking. It was nothing, but, Mom, I miss you. My heart lurched. Was she pregnant? The guilt nearly broke me, but I held firm. Tears streaming silently. Then the crash. 5 months after they left, Sarah called sobbing. Mom, it's all gone wrong. Mark. He ran off with our investors' money. Left me with nothing, debts, eviction notice. And I lost the baby for real this time. I'm coming home. Can I stay with you? Please. My world tilted. A miscarriage? The pain in her voice mirrored my own long ago loss before Sarah was born. My heart twisted, but I said yes. She arrived broken, gaunt, eyes hollow, lugging a single suitcase, clutching her belly as if the emptiness hurt. Mom, I messed up. The beach house money, it vanished in bad deals. And the baby gone. I held her as she cried, but didn't reveal a thing. We'll figure it out, Sarah. But you'll need to pull your weight. The mother in me wanted to cradle her forever, but the lesson demanded distance. I let her hit bottom. She crashed on my couch, but helped with chores, budgeted her tips from a waitressing job. Nights, she'd weep about lost dreams, Mark's betrayal, and the baby that never was. I thought it would fix everything, Mom. But now, I'm empty. Her words echoed my grief after Thomas, and for the first time, doubt flooded me. Had I gone too far? One evening, she found an old ultrasound of herself in the attic, collapsing in sobs. You lost one too? Why didn't you tell me? We talked through the night, sharing pains I'd buried. It bonded us subtly, but I waited. Ms. Rivera updated. Sarah's condo? Rents hiked due to ownership changes. She got the notice. Evicted for non-payment. Mark's doing. And then the darkest twist. Sarah confessed a suicide attempt in Cali, pills she didn't take. I stopped for you, Mom. My resolve cracked, but I pushed on. 6 months post-call, Sarah broke fully. Mom, I can't even afford a studio. What have I done? The baby. Mark, everything's my fault. That's when I sat her down. Sarah, there's something you need to know. I pulled out the envelope. Her eyes widened as she read Thomas's letter, scanned the deeds. Dad owned all this? The condo building? We're rich. I am. I corrected gently. And I knew the day you sold the beach house. Shock, then guilt flooded her face. Why didn't you stop me? Help sooner? I lost a child because of this stress. The accusation hit like a wave. Tears pouring from both of us. Because you needed to learn, Sarah. What family means. Not assets to flip, but love that endures. You discarded me for a quick buck. I let you feel that void so you'd value what matters. But the baby, oh honey, I didn't know. We clung to each other, sobbing for losses old and new. Forgiveness flowed amid the pain, her anger melting into understanding. I was blind, Mom. Dad's letter. He knew I'd stray. Forgive me. Always, I whispered, but the emotional scar lingered, deepening our bond. Ms. Rivera handled the rest. Debts cleared anonymously, condo reclaimed. Sarah quit waitressing but volunteered at a shelter for grieving mothers, using her story to help women who'd lost children or been betrayed. Mom, this feels right. Earning respect, not handouts. We turned the beach house into a retreat for single moms. Free stays, life skills workshops, with a nursery in memory of her lost baby. Sarah runs it now, her fire channeled positively, but on quiet nights she still mourns, adding layers to her strength. A year later, our bond's unbreakable. No more taking for granted. Sarah's transformation inspired me too. I joined therapy, facing my own grief. She's dating a kind teacher, values effort over flash. But twists remain. A letter from Mark arrived, begging forgiveness from jail. Sarah burned it, but not before a fleeting doubt. Did she still love him? No, she decided, choosing us. Me. I talked to Thomas nightly, feeling his pride amid the ache. Did this story touch you? What's the biggest lesson you've learned from family betrayal or loss? Share in the comments. Let's connect. If it moved you, hit like, subscribe for more heart-tugging tales. Super thanks, keep these stories coming. Love from wherever you are. See you next time. Sparkles, let me back up a bit, to paint the full picture with the raw edges. When Sarah was little, she was my sunshine, curly hair, endless questions. Thomas and I worked double shifts to give her the best. Dance lessons, college fund. But as she grew, entitlement crept in, subtle at first. Mark amplified it. Flashy cars, big dreams, subtle digs at our simple life. The beach house sale? Her idea. Forged docs in my name during a helpful visit post-funeral. Just in case, Mom. I signed blindly, trusting. But now, knowing the truth, the betrayal felt like a knife twisting deeper. How could she exploit my grief? Post-envelope discovery, anger simmered, but wisdom won. I volunteered at the library, met widows sharing similar tales. Kids chasing quick riches, forgetting roots. It steeled me, but also stirred old wounds. My own miscarriage before Sarah. A secret I'd kept to spare her. Ms. Rivera's updates. Sarah's Cali life glittered on social media, but cracks showed, overdrawn cards, Mark's shady partners. One photo. Sarah beaming with a baby bump filter. Was it real? The uncertainty gnawed at me. Her first distress call. Mom, startup hit a snag. Loan us $5K? Just temporary. I sent $500. All I can spare. She huffed but thanked. Second. Eviction looming, Mark's fault. Sent nothing. Apply for aid, dear. Harsh. Yes. Necessary? Absolutely. But when she mentioned the miscarriage, my world blurred with regret. Had my silence contributed? Nights I'd pace questioning everything. When she arrived home, suitcase battered, spirit shattered, I almost cracked. Mark ghosted with everything. I'm broke, Mom. I gave her the guest room, but rules. Contribute to bills, no freeloading. She grumbled but complied. Helped with chores, but one day, she found my old journal. Entries about my lost baby. Mom, you went through this alone? We cried, bridging our pains. It was a twist of fate, drawing us closer amid the lesson. Subplot twist. While Sarah struggled, I quietly invested more. Thomas's stock soared. I donated anonymously to her shelter, watching her passion grow. But her rock bottom deepened. A panic attack at work, whispering of darker thoughts. Mom, I almost didn't come back. The fear gripped me. Had tough love pushed too far? Revelation day. In Ms. Rivera's office, papers spread. Sarah paled. The building we rented, you own it? Dad did. Now me. Tears. I threw away our legacy. And the baby if I'd known. The emotional storm raged. Accusations, apologies, raw honesty. We emerged forged anew. Redemption arc. Sarah enrolled in business classes, started a nonprofit for financial literacy and grief support. No more blind trusts, Mom. We vacationed at the beach house, first time post-sale. Seashells in hand, she said. This is home. Not cash. But she placed a tiny stone memorial for her lost child. A quiet twist of ongoing sorrow. Neighbors shock. Eleanor, you're loaded? I'd wink, rich in love. Sarah's transformation inspired them. Potlucks turned therapy sessions. But my health scare returned mildly. Sarah nursed me, roles reversed, adding tender depth. Mark resurfaced, jail for fraud. Sarah ignored his pleas, but confessed a dream where he apologized. It stirred old feelings, Mom. But I choose healing. Her vulnerability twisted my heart. Growth isn't linear. Moral reflections. Betrayal hurts, but it reveals. Family isn't blood, it's choice. Thomas taught me that from beyond, amid the emotional whirlwinds. Engaging question. Ever faced a loss that twisted your path? How do you heal? Comment bilou? Calls to action. Like if this resonated. Subscribe for weekly stories. Super thanks fuel more. Check suggested videos. 2 fresh tales await. From my porch, waves crashing in memory, I sign off. Stay strong, loves. Till next story. To Heart's End.